when we'll say that we're actually streaming. We're just waiting for the notification. Still waiting. We're up.
We're up. All right, cool. There it is. Yeah, we're up. All right, cool. So this is gonna be Super Bowl predictions, right? Yep, Super Bowl prediction. All right, cool. So we got our Super Bowl predictions today. So we'll just go over the matchup real quick. 49ers versus Chiefs. You guys want to talk about their pass, or is that gonna be a part of your takes? I have not in part of my take, but we could talk about the Chiefs was an easy path, and the Niners were super easy too. So like, Chiefs kind of had to go through what? They go in the Dolphins. It was Dolphins, Bills, Ravens.
And Ravens is kind of hard.
Yeah, Bills and Ravens were hard, but that Dolphins game was.
That was.
It should have been. But... Then Niners got a first round bye. Then went against the Packers and Lions to get here. Wow, that sounds so much easier. And on paper, that sounds easier. But it certainly wasn't. But still. So, alright, so now we got a Super Bowl matchup. I'm going to hand this one off to... Since my team's the only, like, divisional team in here because both your divisions sold, I think I should go first.
Your team sold?
Hey, shut up. We have the 4th pick. We're going to get someone nice. We'll talk about that later.
You don't get a high pick with us because we won. You did.
I don't care. We're going to get Marvin Harrison, but that's not this video, is it? It's a Super Bowl, all right?
10.
We're not talking about my Super Bowl, which is the NFL draft, okay? That's always my Super Bowl. That will never...
Yeah, because your team sucks.
Hey, shut up. No one loves you, all right?
A lot of people love you, Zach, so you need to shut up.
All right. I could call someone out on this video, but I ain't not doing that right now. All right. So, all right. So let me get to my prediction. I hate this matchup. All right. I feel like these two also agree with me that they both hate this matchup. It's the worst situation for me and a lot of other NFL fans. But I'm choosing the Niners. The Niners had to go against the Lions offense, which is, in my opinion, their hardest offense that they have gone against the entire playoffs. And in my opinion, they're a better run game team than the Chiefs. So if the Lions didn't go away from running the ball, they probably would have won that game. The Chiefs are not going to be able just to keep Isaiah Pacheco in, like, just him going off. I think the Niners are going to stop it, and then they're going to force Mahomes to throw, which forcing Mahomes to throw is crazy. But I feel like they have a good enough defense to stop Mahomes. Even though he's, like, the best QB in the league, this is also a game for Kyle Shanahan. He's had 3 times that he's gone, 2 times in the Super Bowl, and he has lost in horrible fashions, both with chokes. There was the one last year against the Chiefs where he had like a 10-point lead, and then he choked that one away. Chiefs won, and then there was the other one which is notorious, 28-3, which he has still not gotten over. So this is actually a redemption game for him. I'm gonna be going against. I don't like choosing the Niners, but this is the best situation for the NFL because I can't see Taylor Swift winning a Super Bowl. So, yeah. All right. Josh, you made it pretty deep into the playoffs. You go next.
Yeah, I made it pretty deep, farther than any of y'all this year, thanks to CJ. But for this matchup, I really think it's going to come down to the defenses here. And that's really going to be the whole key to the game. Because if you look at the second half, that defense really started to hold up against the Lions. But with the Chiefs game, it was consistently the defense keeping it in range for the Chiefs. Because if we're really being honest, the Ravens beat themselves. That was the big thing of the game. They kept shooting themselves in the foot at every possible point when they shouldn't have. So, at the end of the day, this is actually going to be a tough team. They're very well disciplined. They're not going to pull any weird stuff, and they're going to treat Brock Purdy like he's an actual quarterback, and they're going to play to his strengths. Now, the big question is Kyle Shanahan actually going to keep a lead? We're going to have to find out on Sunday, but my pick right now is the 49ers. Jack?
All right, we're going for the Queen sweep today. I'm also going the 49ers. You see, Kyle Shanahan is locked in this year. The last 2 times he made it to a Super Bowl, he's choked to Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. But this year, I feel like he's got a chance. He definitely has a chance to change that. I say Niners defense better than Chiefs defense. I get points per game or whatever. I think talent-wise, though, Niners better on paper. I think Niners have better offensive weapons outside of Patrick Mahomes. Kelsey, Kittle, we can debate, whatever. But I think the Niners have overall better offensive weapons outside of Patrick Mahomes. And I feel like the Chiefs, like everyone else said, they lucked out a little bit. Tua, them and the Dolphins literally just froze to death. Like, what do you expect them to do? They literally play in one of the warmest areas in the country. And they're not going to be able to win a game in negative degrees. Josh Allen and the Bills, the missed field goal. Okay. You never know what would happen if they actually made that field goal. And then obviously Lamar's just a choker most years. And he just did what he did again. The playoff choke in that championship game. I think the Chiefs' playoff run has been way less convincing than the Niners. Niners, obviously, they got to chill on a bye. Then they played the Packers. That one was close. They came out on top. Lions, they were down, and they had to come back, and they did it. So I'm really proud of them for that. I think overall the Niners are just a better team, though. Outside of Patrick Mahomes, I'm not really sure what the Chiefs do better than them. I think the Niners defense is going to put Patrick Mahomes in jail for the entire game, and I think that's going to be how they win. Niners will win the Super Bowl, and y'all better be ready for a fun offseason of Brock Purdy dialogue.
We're going to have some uncomfortable conversations about Brock Purdy after this. If he does win this, we're going to have some uncomfortable conversations about him, and we don't want to have these conversations. Side tangent before we start our Frontline Football Awards. The side tangent is, do you think Brock Purdy will win MVP just because he is in the Super Bowl? Or do you think they'll still give it to Lamar after that horrible playoff game? It's a good question now. It's actually, or do they just give up on that and then they just give it to CMC? I think they might just give up and give it to CMC.
No, Lamar's going to win it because it's a regular season award, but still it's pretty weird because Dak Prescott technically has the best stats out of all of them, but because he plays for the Cowboys, nobody's actually giving him the credit that he deserves.
Yeah, but no, there's reasons to not give him credit.
He had a great season this year.
Okay, yeah, but there are some reasons. But, all right, Jack, what about you?
I stand by Lamar.
Think,
Don't give me any of this. Brock Purdy won the Super Bowl. I could care less he won the Super Bowls with the Avengers, so that really doesn't matter to me. So, Lamar, best team in the league. He led the best team in the league to the best record in the league, and he beat the 49ers in the regular season when they're measuring for MVPs, and he elevated talent around him. He did it without his best catcher, his best running back, his line was healthy, I'll give him that. But all he had Isaiah Likely, Odell, Nelson Aguilar, Zay Flowers. It's a decent supporting cast, but he elevated them to the best team in the league. I'll stand by it. Lamar is the MVP still.
All right, cool. I was just making sure. But, so we both... I'm just starting to think nowadays that they might give it to CMC.
Also, because the Super Bowl isn't played that day.
Oh, yeah.
The Super Bowl played Sunday. Ours are on Saturday.
I know. Awards are Thursday.
Thursday?
So...
No, they're Saturday.
No, they're not. Because I work. Wait.
I think you're thinking about
on the day. I know that I have awards. I have the awards. One of the days, I think it's Friday actually, because I know I have work that day. So I have work. Let me check this. Yeah, I know. I have work that week. It's Saturday.
Yeah, it's Saturday.
I thought it was Friday. They did it.
It's never been Friday. It's always been Saturday.
Okay, that's my bad.
Oh wait, whoa. Nope. Sorry everybody. It's in 2 days. It's Thursday, February 8th.
I was right. And I have time off that day. Ooh. I'm gonna watch that. Okay. Alright, good.
Man, Andre just needs to be a Hall of Famer. That's all I'm saying. And CJ and Will Anderson need to
see Lamar. Josh, you could actually get us. I know. We'll get to the thing later. We might get Will Anderson and DJ winning
Rookie of the Year sweep.
Hey, Jack did that last year. Let's do the Tech now.
Hey, Does that mean I
You
get
know
to
what
do
that
it?
means? It's your turn next year.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna have Marvin Harrison Jr. winning it, hopefully, if he's our rookie, and then we get some
whoever you
defensive
take.
player in this like with Josh's pick.
Vitu Vatu or whatever.
I want
Blasphemy,
dude.
perfect.
Jared. I want Jared Verse, but that's me.
Don't-
Jack knows it. Jack has his certain opinions. We'll get some mock draft stuff later, though. We'll talk about that during the off season. This is actually going to be our awards now. So do you guys want to get positive or do you guys want to get negative right now? Because
Let's get negative so we
Negative,
can have
I
the video
agree.
pop.
a negative. All right. So we're gonna do our biggest disappointments. So since I started, Jack, you could start us for biggest disappointments. Who are your biggest disappointments?
All right, I got 3 players and I got 2 teams. So I'm gonna start out strong. We're going with probably the biggest disappointment to me personally, Aaron Rodgers. I get it; it's not his fault. He tore his Achilles 4 plays in the game, but how can you get any more disappointing than that? I mean, like, imagine like having Super Bowl aspirations on Monday morning. The sun is out, and then you sit down to watch Aaron Rodgers, and the first play of the game, Brees Hall runs it for like 20 yards, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is real. And then you see Aaron Rodgers on the ground and realize that your season is back to exactly where you started last year. Like, it does not get worse than that. Like, that has to be the most disappointing player of the year. Please draft a tackle at 10. I don't even want to have any sort of dialogue about anything else because I don't want to witness that again. So, Aaron Rodgers, it's not your fault, but you are by far the most disappointing player of the season. All right, on to the next. We have another disappointing New York quarterback, Daniel Jones. I get it, this one's a little more expected, but I mean, this dude just got $160 million, 2 years of it guaranteed, unvoidable contract, all this crazy stuff, won a playoff game, and dude was just garbage, played like 5 games, went 1-4, then got injured and got outplayed by Chicken Cutlets, Tommy DeVito for most of the year. What's not disappointing about that as a whole? This Giants team was in the playoffs last year. Now they're picking top 10 again. I mean, that's pretty bad. And now they have Daniel Jones in this master contract, so I consider that disappointing. And my final disappointment. This one's on Aaron Rodgers' level, slightly below. This guy was a monster disappointment, and I don't blame him. Just like I don't blame Aaron Rodgers. The biggest disappointment, Bijan Robinson. I get it. He had good yards. He had decent yards per carry. But considering what I thought he was going to be, I am a little disappointed. I thought he was going to be maybe a 1,400 total yards, maybe 12 or 13 touchdowns, and he went for 904 touchdowns. Now we know it's Arthur Smith. Don't get me started on that guy. There's a reason he got fired. Good luck, Pittsburgh. You're going to have fun with him. But Bijan Robinson, considering I thought he was going to be like best running back in the league level right out of the gate, and he was losing carries to Cordell Patterson, I'm disappointed. I think he's got a good shot at bouncing back. Hopefully Raheem Morris knows how to use his running back, the one he picked at 8. Maybe all the Falcons skill players will be released from jail, but that's besides the point. My final disappointment is going to be the city of New York. I get it, both their quarterbacks went down, but these teams were both very disappointing. I couldn't decide. Obviously, there's the Chargers too, but they're disappointing every year, so I'm going to give them a pass. These teams both had pretty high expectations, all things considered, and both of them kind of went up in flames. Both are sitting in the top 10 of the draft with very questionable quarterbacks at this point, and both have kind of big issues they still need to solve. But City of New York, Giants and Jets, you guys equally can share the award for most disappointing team in the league. Congratulations, everyone, for the awards. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Well, my awards are a little bit nicer, but, well, let's just get right into it. First off, for most disappointing, we have Chase Claypool. Now, I know he doesn't start, but if you look at his team's records, whenever he goes to a certain team, for some reason, they lose games when he's there. And it's historically bad when he's there. Like, the Steelers had it, and then they got rid of him, and they started winning games. The Bears were 1-13 in his stretch, and the only game they won he was injured in. And then they trade him away, and they finished 5-6 on the season. And then the Dolphins have the same thing. They keep losing games. So if we're talking about disappointing, Chase Claypool is probably the king of disappointment. No disrespect to him. He's an NFL player. But it was a really bad year
Hey,
for
don't
him.
be
It's just
messing with a top 3 receiver like that, okay?
yeah. I mean, he says he's a top 3 receiver, so you're gonna get criticized like a top 3 receiver when you're not a top 3 receiver even on your team. Next is Kadarius Toney. He single-handedly made Chiefs fans very upset with him because he had stones for hands. We are even thinking that he's just ruled inactive because they don't want to see him play. That's how bad it's gotten at this point. That he's going on Instagram Live saying that, oh, I'm getting benched because this, and this. Yeah, we know your hands are made of stone. You're going offsides. You're not doing your job. Of course you're getting benched. So Kadarius Toney is the next one on here. And then my final person for most disappointing team is like Jack, the New York Giants. Because they had Super Bowl aspirations, like playoffs. And they just folded that first game. It has not been the same since. So, yeah, New York Giants, most disappointing team. Zach?
All right, I got 4 players in one team. Giants for the team. I expected a lot more out of this Giants team. I was expecting maybe a playoff push. I was maybe expecting a wild card win. No, I didn't get any of that. I had to watch the Cowboys drop 70 on you, basically. They just felt nice and didn't want to do it, all right? You also lost. I watched them beat the Cardinals and then not beat a team for the rest of the week past that. That was really bad. So, yeah. And I'll just add on to it because I'm already talking about the Giants. Disappointing player number 1, Daniel Jones. I don't like that guy anymore. He isn't nice. No, sir. He got overpaid, and now the Giants are in a situation where they don't know what to do with him because he is really disappointing. He got benched for Tommy DeVito, and it was Tyrod Taylor originally, too. So, like, this isn't good. Daniel Jones isn't rocking it, and he's not going to be better than what he is. I think we saw peak Daniel Jones already, so this is actually an issue. I was expecting him to be, like, really good, but he was really disappointing for what we were expecting Daniel Jones to do. Next player. Now, these guys are all, if you play fantasy football, this is where I came up for these guys. Najee Harris. I am starting to hate him. He runs like there is some type of injury. I know Najee hasn't dealt with too many injuries in the league. Why does he look like the slowest player on the field? You are the running back. You need to look fast. And he's not like a power back like Derrick Henry is. He's built like one, but he doesn't act like it. He gets tackled easily. I don't know what's going on with Najee Harris. He got his job taken away by some random rookie running back this year. All right? And freaking Warren took his job. That's so... You were like him at Alabama. What happened? I am so annoyed by that. Then, we got Calvin Ridley. I hate Calvin Ridley. I heard all this stuff about, oh, he's going to be amazing. Oh, Trevor and him. Easy duo. He was running clean routes in the offseason. I was getting hyped. I took him in a couple fantasy drafts myself. And then he decides to drop 20. So I'm like, oh, okay, we got someone. We got someone good here. We don't got someone good when the next couple weeks he doesn't do anything for my team and just doesn't do anything. He has looked really unimpressive, and I'm not happy. And I'm happy he's a free agent so he can go find a different team to go be a bum for.
Zach, you're just mad that you lost 14 straight.
Then we finally have the guy, the biggest culprit of my little 14 straight game losing streak. And his name is, 1 second, let me make sure. 1 sec. I hate this guy.
Is this just because you're mad about your fantasy football season?
Oh, I am so mad about. Now we got our last guy. We got Travis Michael Kelsey. I am busting out his middle name here. He ruined my season, and he was disappointing. He sucked. I was expecting a lot more out of Travis Kelsey than I did get. He went away in games. He wasn't even there. It's kind of sad, I guess, age and stuff, but that's just sad. You were literally gone. You disappeared. There was milk cartons on your damn ass because of you. Alright? I took you in every single draft. Safest tight end. Should take him in the first draft. No! No. You don't take Travis Kelce anymore because I don't trust him. All right, he is not a good tight end. He doesn't deserve this. And the only reason why people are not mentioning it is because he had a good playoff run. That's on BS. I hate Taylor Swift. I hate the Chiefs, and I hate Travis Kelce now. I hate this. Alright, so now we're done with the little part about me ranting about my little fantasy football league. Alright, that I lost. And it was 10 straight, it wasn't 14 straight, let's keep that real. Alright, I lost 10 straight, and then I beat one of our friends, and I was 9th place in our league. Actually,
Wow. You lost 10 straight, Zach.
it's Travis Kelce's fault, it's not my fault, okay? It's his fault why I lost.
Keeping him at the spot.
Alright, well, he should have played better then. He disappointed me. And it's because of Jack telling me. So whoever the next safest player is, that boy I'm coming for because he's going to be not good next year. Tyreek Hill, welcome to my team. I got the first pick next year, bud. I am taking Tyreek Hill. He is joining my team and he's going to like it. And he's not going to have a good production year. So I already know. Alright, so now we're out of the negative zone. Let's get to a positive. Let's get to more positive stuff. Let's talk about biggest surprises. Alright. Josh, you can go ahead and put this biggest surprises.
Well, you already know who one of my biggest surprises is. I got 2 players and 1 team. I think you know who the 2 players are. First off, we got Puka Nacua. Because, I mean, he's a 5th round dude. You aren't expecting him to be anything more, but he was him this year. Puka Nacua, if the next player who I'm about to name wasn't on this list, then he would win Rookie of the Year in most years. This dude was breaking records because of how great he was performing for the Rams. And basically took Cooper Kupp's job as the number 1 option. So, yeah, Puka Nacua, biggest surprise. My next one, CJ Stroud. Now, I know, 2nd pick, so it's like, oh, well, you can't really be a surprise he's 2nd pick. No, he was in conversations for MVP. This has never happened before. A quarterback for MVP in his rookie season, putting up numbers that are only comparable to MVP Joe Montana and Tom Brady. That's a surprise. And how he single-handedly led the Texans with a rookie head coach to the playoffs and won a playoff game. So yeah, CJ Stroud, great job on this award. Next is the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are amazing, man. They were supposed to be dead to rights when Anthony Richardson went down, but Shane Steichen's such a great coach. I know he's in my division, and I don't really like the Colts, but Shane Steichen is an amazing coach to be able to game plan around Gardner Minshew and be able to save your season and almost make the playoffs. Just, unfortunately, you dropped a pass on a 4th and goal. It happens. Y'all will be back next year with AR-15, and it'll all be back to normal. So, great job to the Colts this year on having a great year. So I'm going to hand this one off to Zach.
Okay, cool. Biggest surprises this year. I'm going to start with my honorable mentions. I got CJ Stroud and Baker Mayfield. Really nice talents. CJ really shocked me. I didn't think he was going to be this good going into the draft. I thought he was maybe going to be the best quarterback in the class rookie year. Maybe. I was thinking more of Richardson, but that's fine. He proved a lot of people wrong, and I'm happy that he finally did that, and he's probably already a top 5 quarterback if we're arguing already, which is kind of crazy to say. Baker Mayfield, no one was expecting the Bucs to be in this situation. I think I had the Bucs over the offseason having the first pick, and he really showed up and won their division, which is cool. Then we got 2 Rams players. We got Kyron Williams, a guy who came out of absolute nowhere and started carrying fantasy teams. I didn't pick up on it, obviously, from how my record was. And he's been the light that they needed at that position for a long time now. After Todd Gurley left, they have really had a hole at that position. Cam Akers kind of filled it, didn't do too much. Now Kyron Williams is there. I think it's going to be really solid. Puka Nacua is my next one. I don't really need to say anything. He broke every record. He was a 5th round pick. That's pretty impressive. And then finally, we have Joe Flacco, a guy who came off the couch and was able to ball out and get the Browns to a playoff game. Now, did they win? No. But still, they got there, which is really impressive, which the Browns should have been over by probably when Nick Chubb got injured. And what was that, week 4? So, The Browns really impressed, and especially Joe Flacco was a big surprise this year. What about you, Jack?
All right, first I'm going to hit on my most surprising team. There were a lot to pick from. I had a tie between two, but you'll see I gave one a different award for later. But I'm going to give the most surprising to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I had pretty low expectations going in. Baker on a one-year deal. They had some pieces in place, but the idea that they were going to not only make the playoffs, I get winning tank division in the NFC South is not an impressive feat, but the idea that they not only made the playoffs, but they were in a one-score game to potentially go to the NFC Championship game, that was just not what I expected out of them, all things considered. And I think that was a pleasant surprise for a lot of Bucs fans. They're my most surprising team. Obviously, I'm going to start with the one that we all had, Puka Nacua. 5th-round pick out of BYU, comes in, takes Cooper Kupp's job immediately, breaks every rookie receiving record possible. And, that's pretty amazing. Matthew Stafford, wide receiver, turns wide receivers into elite players immediately. But I just didn't expect that out of the 5th-round receiver. Ends up being the best in his class immediately, so good job on him. My second one is going to be Justin Madubuike from the Baltimore Ravens. Another consideration for most improved, but I gave him most surprising because this guy, I looked at his stats. He was a rotational defensive lineman at this point. He's been in the league for 5 years now. He's had 1 sack, 2 sacks, and his best year was 4 sacks. So pretty low numbers. And then here he springs on literally out of nowhere and drops 13.5 sacks for an interior defensive lineman. It's dang, and that's pretty crazy for him to come on the scene like that. I just didn't expect it out of him. He ends up being a key contributor for the Ravens defense being as good as it was this year, and he's setting himself up to make a bag in the offseason because he's also an unrestricted free agent going out. And my final most surprising player has to go to Joe Flacco. This man came off the couch to lead the Cleveland Browns to the promised land. And, I get he had a rough go of it in the wild card round. The fact that you came off your couch and you freaking clinched the 5th seed pretty easily, won 11 games with the Browns. Obviously didn't win all 11, but he came in and he was the spark that led their offense into battle for that crucial month where they were able to lock up a spot. That's really surprising considering we thought this guy was already had 1 foot out of the league ready to retire, and now he's freaking in a playoff game starting. He was resting week 18. That's how much they valued him. They did. We're not going to risk injury for Joe Flacco. So that was pretty surprising. But those are my awards for most surprising.
All right, cool. And now we have most improved. I'll start with this one. All right, so honorable mentions are Cameron Bynum and Deron Bland. Those two are really nice, especially Cameron Bynum. He really was kind of silent some of these seasons, but now Cameron Bynum's super nice, especially for the Vikings. He was just a rotational. I believe he was just a rotational safety, and now what's it called? Shoot, why am I blanking on his name? Brian Flores. Has really changed him into a really nice quality safety that they were kind of looking for Lewis Seed, but Cameron Bynum really showed up, and I'm actually really happy for him. Now let's give him to my top 3. Jalen Johnson. No one was expecting a Bears corner to do well this year. Jalen Johnson really stepped up as the Bears' number 1 corner. The Bears aren't looking for a number 1 corner anymore because they have their number 1 corner. They have their guy. Then we have Nico Collins. He was not dealing with the best QB situation out of any of these wide receivers that we have mentioned today. Now he finally has a quarterback, and he has really shown up. He is actually probably, you can make an argument that he's a top 20 to 15 wide receiver right now. Maybe you could push top 10 argument, but you have to make a really weird argument to get that. So I really like how Nico Collins is playing. I think that he really was a huge surprise, and he improved a lot from his other ones. He's doubled his stats. It's crazy what he's able to do. And the last one I have is Trey McBride. Trey McBride's finally start to step into a tight end role that the Cardinals have needed, and we haven't seen probably since... we haven't ever had a really good tight end. I guess it's not Zach Ertz, not... I guess Max Williams, but he's a lot better than Max Williams. He's really shown up. It's been a safety valve for... We had Josh Dobbs. It was a good safety valve for him. Kyler Murray when he came back. And then even when Clayton Tune had to come out there, I think Trey McBride was still making plays. He was still trying to get touchdowns. And Trey McBride has become a really nice tight end that the Cardinals quarterbacks are using as a safety valve, which is really helpful. So yeah. All right. Josh, go ahead.
Okay, so I got a player and a team for most improved. First is my player, which is Baker Mayfield. I think everything that I could say about it has been said. That we weren't expecting this. He's gone from being a glorified journeyman to actually getting back to his prime form that we were looking for during the draft and leading the Buccaneers to, I mean, it was the tank division. It wasn't anything special, but to lead them to a playoff win and almost beating the Lions, it just, the pick ruined it. That's a really good thing for him. He's going to be getting a bag this offseason. And my team is the Houston Texans. To go from 3 wins, 2 wins in a season to now making 11 wins and making the playoffs and winning a playoff game, the only team that they lost to was the Baltimore Ravens. And they're a young team. They're going to be here for years, hopefully, and they're only going to get better this offseason, which is the crazy thing. So my most improved team is the Houston Texans.
All right, Jack.
So first off, honorable mention for the team. Shout out to the Indianapolis Colts. Team picked 4th overall. Almost made a playoff berth, winning record. All that stuff's good, but this most improved team has to go to the Houston Texans. This team last year had locked itself in to the number 1 overall pick. Obviously, there was a Lovey masterclass at the end with Davis Mills, Hail Mary touchdown. You know the whole story at this point to get them to 2. But that was the worst team in the league for the most part of last year. The Bears kind of snuck in at the end to steal that title. And they come in, they draft C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson, and they completely turn the script. C.J. Stroud plays on another level for a rookie, comes in, immediate division title, and playoff berth. They have 2 Rookie of the Years potentially. They have a bunch of improved people in the young core, and they go out and they win a playoff game at home in CJ's rookie year. They fall short in Baltimore, but that's okay. Overall, this was a really impressive year. You go from 2nd overall to very well being the 1st overall pick if things changed a little differently to being in the divisional round. I'd say that is definitely the most improved team in the league by far. As for players, I'm going to start out. I had Trey McBride on my list as well. He started out 200 yards his rookie year, but this year he came into his own, 800 yards, couple touchdowns, and he became really reliable for the Cardinals offense. I think he's going to take another step up whenever the Cardinals get potentially a Marvin Harrison to take some of the attention off of him. And overall, this has just been a really impressive jump for a tight end. I think he's going to make another jump next year, is my expectation. Second off, I'm going with Baker Mayfield, like that was said as well. Obviously, he played phenomenal for the Bucs this year. This guy was on his way out of the league potentially. The Panthers, he did not do well in at all. Didn't even make it a full season. Went to the Rams, had that cool drive against the Raiders, then kind of went up and down. But he found a place in Tampa Bay, wins a playoff game, almost wins 2 to make it to the NFC Championship game. That's pretty surprising. And then for my final player, it's going to be Quincy Williams from the Jets. He was a player that I thought didn't make the roster, potentially week 1. We paid him $6 million a year a couple years ago. I was like, all right, maybe we could save some money. And he went from borderline roster cut to now he's getting named on All-Pro list. He really developed into his own this year. He became a phenomenal linebacker. And I think he's potentially the C.J. Mosley's replacement as the top linebacker on the team. He played incredible this year, and he did a really good job. So he's definitely the most improved player for me.
All right, cool. So that does it for video today. We did predictions and awards, and then we talked about random tangent. So if you like this video, hit the like button. If you don't like it, dislike it. Put in the comments below who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. Subscribe to our channel. We post, and we're kind of inconsistent about posting, but hit post notifications. You can join us on the streams. Jack, hit the plugs.
As always, the Instagram and Twitter will be Frontline FB. I'll put it in the description as well. And we'll be back here. We got some interesting stuff going on here. We're about to do a Bears debate pretty soon. That's actually going to be a fascinating thing. There's multiple directions, so stay tuned for that. And obviously, we're going to hook you guys up with the off-season stuff too, who people should sign, who people should draft. So stay tuned. The NFL season may be coming to an end, but Frontline Football's off-season is just beginning. And we'll see you guys back here.
Yeah, see ya.
See ya. We won Cody.
Oh, yeah.